I'm earning 14% a day. This is nuts. This is crazy. I'm going to be talking to you more about Rex, my current strategy. We're going to do a review of Rex, and then I'm going to talk about some of the things that I like, some of the things I don't like, and some of the things I'm uncertain of for the future. I'm going to tell you what my overall outlook is for Rex right now, and let me tell you at the very moment of this video, ladies and gentlemen, this is not financial advice. This is not investing advice. And if you're taking financial advice or investing advice from a YouTuber, then you probably shouldn't be investing. Okay, that's not life advice either. Never mind. That actually is life advice. If you're taking financial advice from a YouTuber, you really don't need to be investing. But hey, let's get into this. Come on. Rex, I kind of wish I would have done this a little bit differently looking back at it. And that's how crypto is sometimes. Hindsight's 2020. Now that I'm understanding a little bit more about the project, there's some things that I didn't like that now I understand a little bit better. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes a little bit more sense to me. And there are still some things that I don't love about the project. But let me tell you something. I do feel like I've made a bit of a mistake at this point. I showed you a previous video where I was building out Hex. See, for me, Hex is the long-term earner. Rex may be the short-term gainer. And my whole idea behind using Rex was to build out Hex a little bit and then keep some behind for Rex just in case it pops off and does really, really well in the future. If you're not familiar with Rex, you're not familiar with Hex, don't worry about it. They're two very different projects. I have a video where I talk about my Hex strategy and what is Hex. I'll link that above. And I did a video where I talked about Rex, but I'll recap some of that now. There are similarities and there are drastic differences. But the drastic differences is the part where they require totally different strategies to be able to invest in them. And that's what I'm going to be talking about a little bit in this video. So what is Rex? First of all, 14% a day is insane. What is Rex? Let's just quickly do this recap. There's a YouTube video that explains it well on their YouTube channel. Listen to this. By the way, only at 1,600 views. This thing has not even kicked off yet, but that's okay. Listen up.
Rex. In this video, you'll learn about the purpose, basics, and specifics of Rex. Rex is both a cryptocurrency and a high-yield certificate of deposit. As a cryptocurrency, Rex is designed for the storage and transmission of values. In contrast to common coins or tokens, however, Rex has an integrated deposit function. By depositing Rex tokens for a certain period of time, also called staking, interest is generated. Compared to a certificate of deposit in traditional finance, Rex offers immense flexibility and a far higher rate of return than anything the bank has to offer. In addition, Rex offers all the advantages of a blockchain-secured, decentralized, and permissionless currency. Being a cryptocurrency also means that Rex behaves like any other cryptocurrency. The price varies as people trade them, just like Bitcoin. Therefore, Rex was designed in such a way to achieve the highest possible price stability. What happens when depositing Rex?
Okay, so this is the part that is really interesting. Long-term viability of this project really comes down to if you believe that the price will go up. See, price, they can pay you all they want in Rex tokens, but will the price go up? Do these tokenomics, do the economics of how the token was designed really lead to price appreciation? And that's what you have to consider.
Rex. Technically, when a stake is opened, the Rex tokens are burned and converted into shares. These shares exist for the lifetime of the stake. Once the stake is closed, the shares are deleted and Rex is minted back to the user, with any interest added and any penalties deducted. So, Rex pays interest in the form of more Rex.
So you get interest in the form of more Rex. Now, if the price of Rex stays stable, that's amazing currently. If the price of Rex goes up, that's doubly amazing. But if the price goes down drastically, that's the key, if that happens.
The basics for the distribution of the interest is the number of shares in each stake, in proportion to the total shares. If there is a stake with 1,000 shares, and there are 100,000 shares in total, the stake will receive 1% of all interests. The total interest is a composition of the global inflation, which is 5% per year, and any penalties that might occur.
So that's important for you to understand. Shares is the key to this. Just like Hex was. It's getting the most shares. And this is part that I wasn't clear on. I want to back this up a little bit because it's important for you to get this.
To the total shares. If there is a stake with 1,000 shares and there are 100,000 shares in total, the stake will receive 1% of all interests. The total interest is a composition of the global inflation, which is 5% per year, and any penalties that might occur.
The global inflation, the REX token will be inflated at 5% a year. The challenge is if you think about 5% a year, it's easy to say, well, I'm only going to earn 5% after APR after 1 year. I'm only going to be earning 5%. But that would be incorrect because you get shares when you make an investment. The more you invest, the more REX you stake, and the longer you stake them, the more shares you get. The earlier you get in, you're going to always have more shares than someone who comes in later. Now, there are penalties. The challenge with REX is the penalties, the tokenomics don't allow there to be as many penalties as Hex has right now. And I'll explain that in a moment, but just pay attention to that. Your interest going forward comes from global inflation based on the number of shares that you have.
But how can you influence the number of shares your stake will receive? At first, the longer the duration of the stake is chosen, the higher the number of shares, and therefore the interest rate of the stake. To put it simply, longer pays better. Secondly, when opening the stake, the number of received shares depends on the actual global share price. The higher the price for a share, the less shares are received when opening a stake. As the global share price slowly rises over time, one would choose to open a new stake early rather than late. To put it simply, earlier pays better. Let's have a look at strategies for staking REX tokens.
Okay, we're not going to watch this whole video. You can go watch that. Now, I will tell you, there's a lot of assumptions made in this video, but I'm going to, right now, at the time of this video, if you're going to come into REX, then I'm going to tell you that there's no reason to, because of the tokenomics of REX, the differences between REX and Hex, there's no reason to stake for any other duration other than 5,555 days. And this is both, I think, a positive and a negative for REX, and it's part of what makes it different. You see, REX has multiple tokens. They have the T-REX token and the M-REX token. If you have the T-REX token, you're always able to stake at the same interest rate as day one, T-REX. So you really need a T-REX. I mean, these things are selling for about 7 BNB. They may go up a lot higher because that is a significant advantage. If you don't have a T-REX, you need to get one if you want to go into REX, or you need to save up and get one, however you want to do that. M-REX. For the strategy that I'm using, you need one TREX, one M-REX, and you're going to be good to go. M-REX allows you to scrape interest. Well, you cannot do that in Hex. T-REX allows you to get the best interest rate, period. Here's what I'm currently doing. And by the way, this price, almost half a penny, and going down right now. There's people say, should you buy on PancakeSwap? Should you buy on the auction? I'm doing both, and I'll explain why in a moment. But when the price is like this is a good time to buy on PancakeSwap. I'll give you a little bit of a tip. Prices appear to be lower in the morning after people get their rewards. They oftentimes will sell. It drives price down. So price tends to be lower in the morning on PancakeSwap, just so you know. If you wanted to sell, I would recommend you sell in the evening because price tends to be a little bit higher in the evening. If you're going to buy, watch prices. Again, not financial advice, but watch prices. They appear to be lower in the mornings on PancakeSwap, whether you're buying or selling over there. I want to just kind of go through my current strategy and what I'm doing. So I have one T-REX, one M-REX right now. By the way, if you use a referral link, you get 10% extra tokens. At the very moment what I'm doing, I'm coming over here into the auction. Let me explain why I'm coming to the auction. And right now I'm doing 0.1 a day. I just started this. I'm doing 0.1 a day into the auction every single day. 0.1. I did 0.1 today. I'll do 0.1 tomorrow. I'm doing it every single day. I'm also buying on PancakeSwap with 0.1 if the price is good. The reason that I'm buying in the auction is because you can get personal. This is different than Hex. You can get personal big paydays. 85% of the BNB that goes into the auction does not go to an origin address, but 85% of it gets redistributed as personal big paydays. And what happens is a address is chosen at random, and then they choose all the addresses below that one, however many that is, or above that. And those addresses all get a personal big payday. Now, I haven't got one yet, but the personal big payday will reimburse you up to 100% of the BNB that you actually have in the contract. Well, that's an instant break even ROI before anything happens on the platform. And there are some people in Telegram that's actually gotten two. There's no limit to the amount of personal big paydays. This is an interesting tokenomic. It definitely keeps the auction alive and is a big contributor for me to go into the auction, because all of a sudden, everything I put in the auction, all of these Rex tokens will become free. So I am currently going in, every single day a little bit into the auction, hoping that the personal big payday pays off. I mean, I think you have a greater than average shot at getting hit with a personal big payday. Now, if you don't get a personal big payday at the end of the year, what will happen? Let me see. The treasury here is stacking up. A percentage of that BNB is going to the treasury, and that treasury currently is worth 27,000. And once we get to 311 days, that treasury is going to get distributed to all eligible addresses. Right now, currently it says I'm eligible. Anyone that does not get a big payday will be eligible for this amount right here. So that's going to be interesting to see how much that ends up being. I think the best bet is to get a personal big payday, and you have the shot at getting two personal big paydays or more. So that's the best bet. But this is going to be a consolation prize, and hopefully it's a nice consolation prize. We'll have to wait and see exactly what happens. Let's talk about my goals and what I'm trying to do with this, and then I'm going to talk about some of the tokenomics. So my goals right now with Rex, I am kicking myself a little bit because I'm going in with 0.1 now. Those of you who saw my video on my Hex strategy, I'll link it above. I believe Hex is the long-term gameplay. Personally, I believe Hex and Rex are two different projects. People want to get tribal. Oh, Hex is the best. Rex is an imposter. And what's hilarious, by the way, this is hilarious, is on Twitter watching the Hexagons get pissed off because people are shilling on their Twitter, which is exactly what Hexagons have been doing forever. I think that is so hilarious. Like, you can dish it out, but you can't take it kind of thing. However, Hex and Rex are two different projects. I think Rex may be the short-term earner. Again, not financial advice. I think it may be the short-term earner, but I don't think it has the long-term potential of Hex. Personal opinion, I could be wrong. I'm looking forward to being proven wrong if I am. So my strategy is maximize Rex in the short term and use earnings to create more Hex stakes in the long term. And as I earn profits, also build stakes out in Rex just in case. But the staking strategy is different. If you own a T-Rex and you own an MREX, the only staking strategy you should be doing is 555. Now, you'll see that I got some stakes that did not get the bonus interest, and they look like right here. And look at that. I'm getting 0% interest a day. It's not even registering. And that's because I had gotten rid of my T-Rex. I actually sold my T-Rex because I thought I was done with the project. I started watching. I thought, I should get that T-Rex back. So I did. And yeah, you want to stake for 555. That's the only goal. Now, here's the key. Triple up your stake. And people say 250, 300. Listen, it's small potatoes. I just focus on 300 of this easy. My goal is to triple up my stakes, and then pull out some profits, and then you got two stakes left over. Those two stakes, one of them, just stake them for 555. And the idea is to create multiple stakes. So if you want to cash out, or if you want to earn a monthly income, you scrape interest, but you have to have a T-Rex to do that. When you scrape your interest, so here's what happens. There's a lot of questions on this. So right here, I have 70% of my return back in T-Rex. If I scrape my interest, it kills my shares. I'll lose 70% of my shares as well. So once you get over 100%, if you scrape, your shares you no longer earn interest on that stake. Now that's important to understand. But if you let it keep earning interest, you can take it all the way up to 100, 200, 300%, 400%. At 300%, you can scrape, you're going to get 300% of your Rex, and you can restake. Now, here's the part that I did not fully understand that I wish I would have understood in the beginning, and I probably would have went in a lot bigger. At one point, I had about 30 BNB sitting in my account, and I invested in some NFT stuff that I'm doing, which I haven't even talked about on this channel a whole lot yet. And I also invested in building out my Hex stakes. But what I wish I would have done now is I wish I would have came in about every day with one BNB for 30 days. Let it triple up, because it only takes like to get I think it's 20 days, around 20 days to get to triple up. Is that right? I think so. Pretty close. 21, 22 days to triple up. At that point, you're taking off profit. I mean, it's a no-brainer. What causes interest rate to go down, because like day one people got in at like 29% interest. This interest rate is going to consistently go down. As more people come in, as more stakes are created, there's less shares to go around. And shares the thing that people have to wrap their brain around. When there's less shares to go around, it doesn't matter how many T-Rex you have. What matters is how many shares those T-Rex can get you. When there's less shares, there's lower interest. Normally, in Hex, share price causes token price to go up. That remains to be seen yet, but that's because right now, so people, when you're earning 14% interest, so many people are selling. But over time, less people are going to be selling because they're not going to be earning as much, and they're going to be holding their stakes longer and longer and longer. That should theoretically cause price to go up. It doesn't mean that it will. I'm just saying that I think it should over time. But we're going to have to wait and see, because we got to wait for share price to go up. And that could take several weeks, actually. It could take even several months. And we may see the price pull back significantly before that happens. So for me, it's about tripling up, and then I'm going to just ride it out. I want to get to, as you can see here, I got 13,000 there, 7,000 there, 88,000, 5,000, 1,500, 130, 10, 36, 38. I want to get this to about 6 million Rex. Now I'm gonna pull out some profits, or at least my principal, but I want to get this to about 6 million Rex. I say that I may start adding more in. If you're gonna get started, it's necessary you do 3 things. Go over to the dashboard, buy a T-Rex. You can come right here, and that will take you straight to PancakeSwap. Buy MREX, take you straight to PancakeSwap. Like I think that's actually required. Like you have to do that. And once you go over there, you're gonna want to trade. Click trade. Right here you are. And then, so you want to buy one. Currently they're selling for, we'll have to wait for it to come through. And then there's MREX, click trade. MREX are selling for, and that'll show up here in a moment. So they're currently selling for $3,900. Now here's the key. You're going to be earning 14% a day. It doesn't take long to cover a T-Rex, depending on what you're going in with. MREX is much cheaper than that. I think it's $60 for an MREX. Totally worth having an MREX, because that's you got to be able to scrape. So it's totally worth having an MREX as well. The third thing that you need to do is make certain that you use a referral address. You don't have to use my referral address. It will be in the description, but you don't have to use that one. You can use any referral address. You get 10% more by using the referral address. So that is a no-brainer as well. And then stake out for 555 as much as you want. And then when you stake out for 555, make certain that, get 300% before you scrape. Or some people say 250. I just think it's simpler to use round numbers. 300%. And, you're golden. And I'm going to go through my full staking strategy. But my first goal, really, I want to get to 1 million tokens, but I want to get to 6 million. Like that's really one of my goals, to get to 6 million tokens. So I'm thinking I wish I would have been coming in 1 BNB a day when I had those 30 BNB, because that would have set me up beautifully. Because listen, 1 BNB a day for 30 days, plus you got a great shot at getting a big payday, possibly, and you get all of that back. And I just saw today where somebody else got a second big payday. In fact, he said he got a second big payday back to back. That's incredibly lucky. That's 100% return. And then you got all these Rex and all these shares. Like, that's crazy if you think about it. But if I'd have been doing 1 BNB a day for 30 days, even if that's all I did, about 22 days after that last, or 25 days, whatever, after that last BNB would have went in, I would have been made whole by a lot at that point. And I have a strategy for cashing out on T-Rex. I haven't shared that, but it's a way to be able to cash out without tanking the price. I'm going to be sharing that in another video, because the key is, if you make a lot of T-Rex, you want to cash out. How can you cash out without taking the price? I got an idea. And I'm going to be sharing that on a future video. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. If you like this kind of commentary, one thing on my channel is my commentary is never one-sided. I really talk about the good and the bad, because I believe if you can accept the bad and move forward, then you're in a much stronger position as an investor in a highly speculative space such as cryptocurrency. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe this technology is incredible. And if you agree with that, do me a favor and smash that like button. Decentralized cryptocurrency equals freedom. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.